Habs' 5th overall draft pick, David Reinbacher, officially signed his 3-year entry-level contract today, and he had some very, very positive words about the city of Montreal after maybe not the smoothest of starts with the fans. We'll be getting into that, plus Hockey Prospecting ranks Montreal's skaters as the second best prospect pool in all of hockey. Finally, we had some awesome leadership shown by Byron and Nick Suzuki at the development camp, so you don't want to miss this edition of Habs Digest. First thing today, Jesse, of course, is the big news. David Reinbacher signing his 3-year entry-level contract. Of course, Habs signed him 23-24 to 25-26. You got to think at least one of these years will be spent back in Europe, but take a look at what he said on Instagram, Jesse. Somo, without words, merci Montreal for an unbelievable last 7 days. Honored to sign my first NHL contract as a Hab. Now the real work starts. We're going to get into another quote he had a bit after, Jesse, but first off, how does it feel to see that David Reinbacher's finally put pen to paper? He's on the Montreal Canadiens, and he will be playing for the Habs within the next few years, and to also see that he is happy about being here.
It's so nice to see this for this very likable, and I would even say he's a likable guy, but he's also a fun guy, in a lot of ways. Just that great personality. But also that talent as well. And just all that chemistry with Hutson has just been such a bonus with all of this, but like just looking back, watching some of the film from the development camp, it's like, I think that Michkov is going to really regret wanting to go to the Philadelphia Flyers so bad. And secondly, that the Habs in the future are going to be very happy that they selected David Reinbacher.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, he looked great with Hutson. I mean, there's lots of potential for Reinbacher in the future with the Habs. Now, for this year, we're not really sure. So the way his contract works, of course, if the Habs, there's a bit of a grace period between when the Habs sort of have to send him back to Europe. It's kind of like wishy-washy, but the point is, once they do say, hey, head back to Europe with your old club in the Swiss League, you kind of have to stay there for the full season. So as soon as Reinbacher goes back over there, he'll be with his Swiss club for the full season. Next year, maybe has a chance to crack the NHL roster. Maybe it'll be more AHL, but regardless, we're hoping to see some development this year from Reinbacher, a guy who already looks like he is borderline NHL ready. Let's see a little more work before he gets there. But the big thing about this, Jesse, when he signed this contract, of course, he's been interviewed like crazy recently. He's a 5th overall pick for the Habs, so of course he is. But here's a quote that really stood out. I'm feeling really, really like home here, he added. Now it's my second home. I want to come really early back here to Montreal and start training here and treat the fans well. Probably go outside afterwards and give something back to the fans because they did a nice welcome for me and it's really appreciated. If the fans are behind you, it's something good for you. Now, Jesse, this is just... Again, he didn't have the best of starts. A lot of Habs fans sending him some awful messages. We reported on that for sure. He had to turn off comments on his Instagram, but... To see things have turned around for him, of course, we saw that a woman give him the booklet full of all the positive comments, people outpouring of love, cheering for him at the dev camp. It's the best feeling to see that maybe his negative first perception has definitely flipped.
It's true, and he's such an authentic young man, so like when he's saying these things, and you can definitely catch that in the interviews, it's like when he's saying that this really, really feels like home, like he 100% means that. And what's so nice about this, Josh, is like, that's the whole vibe of this team. Whether it's Cole Caufield, Nick Suzuki, and now David Reinbacher, what all these 3 young players have in common is they've really embraced Montreal, the fans, the culture, the team, everything about that. And that's just so important for kind of that long-term success, that is, you're not just here just to do your business and go home, but you're really here for the fans, to really give back the best. What I'm really getting from him is that he wants to show his appreciation for all the recent outpouring of love that he's gotten. He's going to be putting in the work to do so. So I think this just really feels like our whole kind of team structure and kind of feel that we want about the team.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just awesome to see the fans come around on David Reinbacher, hoping the best for him, hoping to see him produce in the Swiss League this year, and hey, maybe make the Habs by the time next fall rolls around. Topic number 2 today. Hockey Prospecting ranks Montreal's skater pool, not their goalie pool, second in the NHL. So we're going to have a look here at their updated rankings for July of 2023, and it's a bit hard to read, I'm sure, but as you can see on the right side there, when it comes to skater rank and overall rank, Montreal ranks number 2 overall for all their prospects. Now, again, they're 19th in goalie ranking, but they've moved up from number 3, which used to be held by, I believe, the Minnesota Wild at one point. But yeah, this is awesome, Jesse. Their top 5. So when it says top 5 here, it means of their top 5 prospects. And I'm not sure who they have. I think it's like, I'm not sure if Slafkovsky even counts anymore, but I'm sure like Hutson, Mailloux, guys like that, and Reinbacher. They're ranked 11th in top 5 star potential, as in of their top 5 guys, which ones have the highest chance to become a star, but ranked number 1 in top 5 NHLer rank and number 2 in depth NHLer rank. So what this tells us, Jesse, is according to this model, basically no matter what, most of, if not all, of the Habs' top 5 prospects are going to be solid or depth NHL players. And to me, that's one of the most important things you need when you're going towards, a championship caliber team. Like, yes, you need high-end scoring. Montreal will go get that, but this is definitely still a very good sign.
It's true, because if we're looking at building our team, like let's say, giving an example of building a home, right, is you need that good foundation first, and then that good group of obviously NHL quality players. That's obviously to have success in the NHL, that's a given, right? But you need to build that foundation before you kind of start doing those extra things and kind of building up from there. So, it's amazing to see. And I definitely think we are going to be doing those big moves in free agency in the future. But that's after you've really gotten rid of some of the players and you've had that good foundation in place, right? I think that there's kind of a timing, there's a structure to all this. So I think we're really going about it in the right steps.
Yeah, I think so too. And again, like we were talking about before the show, like you said to me, right, even if just one of these guys hits as a star, let's say Lane Hutson comes out and is a star, let's say gains some muscle, is just a dominant NHL level defenseman, right? He hits as a star, and the other 4 guys turn into solid NHLers. Say Reinbacher's like, 20 minute a game, PK, power play kind of guy, and you get Mailloux who plays a ton, someone like maybe Owen Beck or Joshua Waugh turns into like a top 6 forward. You're rolling, because these guys, these prospects, for the first many years of their career are going to be pretty cheap, right? At least the first 3-4 years. And if these guys can turn into NHLers on those rookie level deals, your salary cap flexibility ends up being a lot better too. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's really exciting. Jesse, though, the 19th goalie rank, I know we improved it with Jacob Fowler in this draft. Is that still a concern to you, or do you think Dobeš and Fowler and someone like Monty might be able to get the job done over the next few years?
I really think that we addressed it in a nice way at this year's draft. I think we probably need a little bit more immediate help. Now, that's not going to affect our prospect pool ranking, but I think that this kind of goes to show why it was so important that we did kind of improve in that department in this year's draft. So definitely looking forward to possibly making a big splash, getting that free agent at a certain point, right? But I don't know if we're quite there yet where we want to contend in that way, but I think it's definitely a move we want to make in the near future.
For sure. And the final topic today, Jesse. Paul Byron and Nick Suzuki are showing some amazing leadership. Now, I don't have the videos here. You can go find them online. Maybe I'll put them in a link in the description or something. But they both gave some speeches to the new Habs prospects at development camp. And Jesse, I gotta say, especially Paul Byron's, really rubbed me the right way. They were both just amazing. Byron speaking about how, like, some games I played 13, 14 minutes, some games 11, some games I'd go 9 minutes straight just cheering the guys on, drinking water from the bench. He said he turned into from the guy into just a Swiss Army knife kind of guy who would do anything the team asked him. So it's a really, really moving speech, I think, if you're a young guy and you might not end up having that star level potential. Before we get into Suzuki's speech, what did you think of Byron's speech? And isn't it cool that he's still super involved in the team?
It is. You got to feel like it's just a matter of time before he's joining the Habs development or management coaching in one way or another. But just so nice how we highlighted the importance of being selfless, right?
Yeah.
I think it's so great that with this development camp that we're just laying down the culture right away of what we want this Habs team to be, a selfless organization, talking about encouraging others, being there, being a good team player, everything else. So I think all of these things are really important, right? And it's true, Paul Byron did a little bit of everything, right? Like, he was a fourth line guy, but we also remember his 20-goal seasons as well, the speedster and his many breakaways that he would find using his speed and everything else. So I think, players like you said, Josh, can really relate to him in, somebody who really made something out of nothing for his NHL career. And look how he's just kind of continued that again by being such a great team guy. He's adding such value to the Habs. So he's just kind of encouraging that same sort of spirit with these young Habs players, which I think is great to see.
Yeah, it is really awesome to see. Of course, him and Price have been sort of together, mentoring a lot of the young Habs guys. It's been really awesome. But Nick Suzuki, too. I mean, he is just showing his leadership day in and day out with these guys. Came in and said, hey, guys, even I started on the fourth line. I was nervous coming to Montreal, coming over, made so many relationships in Vegas. To come to Montreal, a city with maybe the most pressure in all the NHL, and he started on the fourth line, and he worked his way up, and he performed, and he basically had the message to the guys, like, look, if you work hard and the coaching staff sees you, especially someone like Coach Marty, you're going to get your opportunities. And I think that is, to go along with Byron's message, just also a perfect message, right? You work your butt off, you show that you want to be here, and I think they'll make a spot for you.
That's it. The value of, grabbing that share, as Martin St. Louis says, finding what's your niche with this team and really holding on to it. And so I really like that. I think that's some great advice, for some young prospective NHLers, but also what he mentioned about how the Habs are building something special.
Yes.
And I really, really agree with that 110%. You can just feel it around the team. You can see it on the talent that's on the ice, even in our development camp. So, I mean, it's really nice to see. And, again, Nick just being so humble, but so relatable at the same time. I think, definitely a lot of these young players definitely appreciated his message.
I think so too. That'll do it for this news edition of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 7K. We'd love your support in getting there. You guys have been amazing recently, and we can't thank you enough. I'm Josh Gosse for my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.